I never believed in ghosts. Not really. Sure, I've heard stories growing up, the ones that make you shiver, but I always brushed them off as exaggerations. That was until it happened to me. What I'm about to tell you may sound unbelievable, but I swear it's true. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It was a warm Friday evening, and I was driving out of the city to meet up with some friends for the weekend. You know the kind of drive where you put on your favorite playlist, roll down the windows, and just let your mind wander? Yeah, that was me. Traffic had been smooth until I hit a slowdown near the highway exit. At first I thought it was just the usual congestion, but as the minutes dragged on, I noticed the flashing red and blue lights ahead. There had been an accident. As I inched closer, my heart started to race. I didn't want to look, but curiosity got the better of me. When I finally passed the scene, my stomach dropped. A mangled car was crumpled like paper against a tree, the driver's side completely crushed. I saw the body, well, what was left of it, being covered by paramedics. Someone had died, and the reality of that hit me hard. I tried to shake the image from my mind, but it clung to me. I had barely driven a mile past the wreck when my car felt different. At first I thought maybe it was my nerves, but then I noticed something in the corner of my eye. There, sitting in the passenger seat, was a woman. I nearly drove off the road. I slammed on the brakes, heart pounding, breath caught in my throat. I don't know how to explain it, but she was just there, as if she had always been sitting next to me. She was dressed in dark work clothes, her hair a bit messy, and her face, God, her face was a mix of confusion and panic. I blinked, thinking I was seeing things, but she didn't disappear. She looked at me, wide-eyed, her chest heaving like someone who'd just run for miles. Then she spoke, her voice trembling. Where am I? How did I get here? I was frozen. My brain was screaming that this was impossible. No one had entered my car. I'd been alone. And yet, there she was, as real as the steering wheel in my hands. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice rising. "What's happening?" I could feel the blood drain from my face. She wasn't a ghostly figure. She didn't float or shimmer. She looked solid, real. But there was something off. Her skin was pale, too pale, and her eyes, they had this distant, almost lost look to them. I knew deep down that she wasn't supposed to be there. I glanced back at the road, panic flooding my veins. What do you even do in a situation like this? I took a deep breath and forced myself to speak. "Ma'am, I need you to stay calm," I said, my voice shaking. "My name is Julie. You've been in an accident." She just stared at me, her lips trembling. An accident? That's when it hit me. My gut churned as I realized where I'd seen her before. The wreck. The body they were covering on the roadside. It was her. Somehow, impossibly, she was now sitting in my car. I think you were in the crash back there," I said softly, unsure of how to break it to her. You didn't make it." Her eyes widened, her breathing turned shallow, and she started shaking her head. No, that can't be right. That can't be right. I'm right here," she shouted, clutching her chest as if trying to feel her heartbeat. I know it doesn't make sense," I stammered, trying to keep her calm, though I was barely holding it together myself. "But you didn't survive." For a long moment, she just stared at me, her expression slowly shifting from confusion to an eerie realization. The air in the car felt heavier, colder. The reality of her situation seemed to settle over her like a weight. I was on my way home," she whispered, her eyes filling with tears. I didn't even see the truck." Her voice trailed off, and I could feel the sorrow and fear pouring off her. I didn't know what to say, but something inside me told me to help her, to guide her. We drove in silence for what felt like an eternity, the trees lining the highway blurring past. Then, up ahead, I saw a break in the trees, sunlight pouring through the clearing. It was almost peaceful, serene even. I don't know why, but I felt like that was the place, like it was where she needed to go. "Look," I said, pointing toward the clearing. I think it's time." She followed my gaze, her face softening as she looked at the light. A strange sense of calm washed over her, and she gave me a weak, almost grateful smile. "Thank you," she whispered. And just like that, she was gone. I slammed on the brakes and pulled over to the side of the road, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. For several minutes, I sat there in complete disbelief, trying to process what had just happened. Had I imagined it all? Was my mind playing tricks on me? But then, a few days later, I was watching the news when a story came on about the accident. They showed a picture of the woman who had died, the same woman who had been in my car. I couldn't breathe. It was her. No doubt about it. I've tried to make sense of it, but some things just can't be explained. All I know is I wasn't alone on that drive. And whoever that woman was, she wasn't ready to leave this world. At least not until she got some help from a stranger like me. I still think about her sometimes, especially when I drive by that stretch of road. It's a reminder that life is fragile, and that maybe, just maybe, there's more to this world than we can see. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another spooky story. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let us know what horror story you'd like to hear next. Stay safe, stay curious, and remember, sometimes what you see is just the beginning. Until next time.